Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for a really fun episode. In this one, I'm going to be talking about 5 deep sleepers that you should be targeting late in drafts. Before we start, guys, please drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. A good amount of you that watch these videos are still not subscribed, so I really would appreciate if you do hit that button. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, there are still some spots available in my Fantasy Tip Members League. So if you do want to join that and play fantasy hockey against me and Max, go down in the description below and sign up for my Patreon. It's very, very cheap, and then you get plenty of other perks like my draft rankings, which is coming in just a couple of days. You get to DM with me to ask me any fantasy hockey questions you have, and you get early access videos because I often upload videos before they actually get released on YouTube. Let's jump right into the list now, guys, and basically the deep sleepers. We're going to be looking at guys that are going like super late in drafts right now in Yahoo ADPs and are below 10% rostered. So guys who are really not being picked in a lot of leagues. And the very first guy that we're going to look at is Andrei Kuzmenko of the Los Angeles Kings. And now this is a guy who got traded twice last season, from Calgary to Philadelphia and Philadelphia to LA. However, once he got to LA, he got 17 points in 22 games, including top power play and top line time. He absolutely thrived in LA. Now, this is a guy that has a wicked shot. He's averaged over 20% shooting percentage in his career, which is absolutely insane, but he needs to shoot the puck more. And if he does, he could be a huge steal where he's currently going in drafts, and that's basically not being drafted in most leagues. In the playoffs last year, in 6 games, he shot nearly 3 times per game. If we can get that kind of hunger from him all year, he could be a real fantasy stud. He is on a contract year, so who knows, but he should be glued to the top line and top power play with Kempe and Kopitar, and that is a great place to be in LA. I really don't mind throwing one of your later picks of the draft at Andrei Kuzmenko. My next deep sleeper is Cam Talbot of the Detroit Red Wings, and he's only 7% rostered, so really not being drafted in 93% of leagues. Kind of crazy. Now, a lot of you guys might be saying, well, isn't John Gibson the starter in Detroit this year? That's why Talbot's not being drafted. Well, yeah, technically, he's probably going to be listed as the 1A. But the thing is, even though Cam Talbot is 38 and Gibson is 32, Gibson is a lot more injury prone. And what do you do with an injury prone goalie? You start him a lot less. So they may actually split games completely evenly in Detroit, which means Talbot is going to get about 41 games if that's the trend. Now, on top of that, what did I just say? Gibson is super injury prone. And even with limited games, he still finds a way to get injured left and right. I believe last year in Anaheim, he got injured like 4 separate times during the season. Now, obviously, he came back from each one of those, but that's not a good sign. If that kind of trend happens again, Cam Talbot will probably end up getting well over 41 games this year, and then he'll be the guy who gets the most games in Detroit. At only 7% rostered, throwing your last pick of the draft at a guy like this, if you didn't really draft goalies well, or are going for a 0 goalie strategy, Cam Talbot, I really don't mind. The next guy on this list is somebody that I'm going to be drafting in every single league this year. And that is Matt Coronato, who's only rostered in 7% of leagues. Now, Calgary loves this guy. Last year, they glued him to the top power play, and then they locked him into a $6.5 million per year contract for the next 5 years. Now, this guy's pretty much guaranteed to be in the top 6 in Calgary, and all signs seem to be pointing towards a massive breakout season this year. Now, last year, he took a huge jump from the previous season, and then he seemed to get better and better as the season went on. He ended up with 47 points, which is really not bad. I can easily see this guy ending the year with 30 goals and 60 total points. I think he's a stud and should have a nice breakout campaign this year, and it really doesn't hurt that he's glued to the top power play over there in Calgary. The next deep sleeper I have is another goalie, Connor Ingram. Now, he had an awful season last year by pretty much all standards. He was the starting goalie going into the season, and then he did so bad that Karel Vejmelka kind of took over, and then Ingram ended up going into the player assistance program. So can we chalk down his awful season to mental health issues? It's possible. Now, he went into the player assistance program. Good for him. I applaud him for doing that. It's not an easy thing to do to step down from playing hockey and do that for yourself. But he did emerge from the program very recently, so it seems like he's ready to go. His mental state is probably a whole lot better, and I think he's really going to compete for that starting job in Utah. The last couple of years, it's been Ingram and Vejmelka kind of competing for the job, and Ingram's pretty much been the guy in Utah other than when Vejmelka took over last year. So I have a lot of faith in Ingram, and if Ingram can get back to his old form, he could easily at least get a 50-50 split with Vejmelka in Utah. And Utah's actually a pretty good team this year, borderline playoff team, so should get a decent amount of wins as well. And at only 4% rostered, he's a great target for someone to add even after your draft with a zero goalie strategy. My final deep sleeper pick, and this is probably my boldest, hottest take, is Logan Mailloux of the St. Louis Blues. Now, the Blues had a middle-of-the-pack power play last year. They were about 16th in the NHL. I think that they're going to be able to elevate that if they have a better defenseman on the point than Justin Faulk. Not to say Faulk was horrendous, but he's definitely not the best guy you want at your point on your power play. Logan Mailloux is an offensive defenseman by nature, and they did give up Zach Bolduc this offseason, who was a big piece of their team, to acquire Logan Mailloux. So it'd be pretty hard to see them doing that and then not utilizing Logan Mailloux to his potential. I think there's actually a decent chance that Logan Mailloux ends up getting top power play in St. Louis with the likes of Robert Thomas, Jimmy Snuggerud, maybe Jordan Kyrou, Holloway, whoever it is up there. That should be a pretty decent power play, and Logan Mailloux might be able to elevate it to another level since he is more of an offensively geared defenseman than a guy like Justin Faulk. Obviously, though, you probably don't need to draft Logan Mailloux since he's literally not being drafted in 99% of leagues, so you can keep an eye on him in training camps and preseason, and if he's playing well and getting top power play time, then yeah, maybe consider throwing a late pick at him. Otherwise, just keep an eye on him throughout the season, and once the Blues do elevate him to that top power play, you can go and add him from your waiver wire. And that's it for this video today, guys. Do you agree with my choices? Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like about this video, and let me know what other really low-owned guys you're going to be targeting late in drafts. Thanks so much, guys. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.